Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hello.
Hello, Professor An. Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Professor Xie.
Hello, Professor Wang. Good morning. Welcome to our forum. And wait a moment. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our forum. Welcome to the China and Korea Entrepreneurship Forum held by the College of Innovation of Entrepreneurship of WENZHOU University. It's my honor to be here. I'm the host Tianran Zhang, studying in the third grade of higher pedagogy now. Please allow me to introduce two professors. First one, Professor An. Professor An is Vice President of the Korea Society of Business Venturing and Entrepreneurship, and he is also the Research Assistant Professor of Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. Welcome to Professor An. Could you say hello to everyone, Professor An?
Yes. Wait a minute. Okay. Are you hear me?
I can't see you.
Do you hear me?
Wait a moment. Could you please turn on your camera?
Yes. Did you see me?
Wait a moment, let me see.
Hello. Hello.
Excuse me. Wait a moment.
It's okay. I can see you, Professor An.
Yeah.
I can see
Okay.
you. Okay.
Oh,
It's good.
Hello everyone. Thank you for the invitations. This forum. Yeah. It is an honor to be with you, everyone. I'm a professor Tae-uk An at Kaist University in Korea. Thank you.
oh, thank you. And the Professor Choi. Professor Choi is a 10-year assistant professor of Kean University, and he received a PhD in human resource development. Welcome to Professor Choi.
Yeah, this is Dr. Jerry Choi. Nice to see you.
Oh, I can see you. I
Can you
see
hear
you.
me?
Okay, it's good. It's good.
It's good. Yeah.
You hear me?
And there are some students. There are some teachers from Tsinghua University, Minjiang University, Huanghai University, and Zhejiang Yuexiu University. And there are also teachers from other universities in WENZHOU. There have research experience richly in entrepreneurship education. And there are also several graduate students who are studying and researching entrepreneurship. Welcome. And now I'd like to invite the president of College of Innovation and Entrepreneurship of WENZHOU University, and Professor Shi. Welcome to Professor Shi.
Okay. Good morning. Welcome to join the China-Korea Entrepreneurship Forum. Thank you for your participation. I especially want to thank you, my dear friends, Professor An from KISTA and Professor Choi from WENZHOU University. First, I want to make a very brief introduction of the WENZHOU and its entrepreneurship education. WENZHOU University located at the entrepreneurial city WENZHOU in the southeast of China, which has a long history of the 19th years. May 19th, this year will be the 90th anniversary of WENZHOU, being rooted in such a flourish region culture, WENZHOU University insists is strengthening its future of the entrepreneurship education, which regards as the specialty of the WENZHOU University in curriculum preservation at the university level, and its aims to train students as responsible application-oriented talents who have high level skills in practice, innovation, management, and venturing new business. A College of the Innovation and Entrepreneurship was founded in 2009, but WENZHOU University has been carrying out entrepreneurship education since 2000. And it has formed a unique entrepreneurial talent training model, the WENZHOU model. After 20 years of reform and development, which was regarded as one of the four most well-known model in entrepreneurship education in China. And the university is currently the deputy chair of the MOE, which means Ministry of the Education of China. In MOE Innovation and Entrepreneurship Education Council in last year in 2022, we are newly formed by MOE as National College of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and the secretary list of the China-US Youth Maker Exchange Center. Second, I want to share why we hold such forum. We hold this forum in the hope of forming an academic research community so that more and more teachers and students could pay more attention to the great role of the entrepreneurship in promoting social and economic development, and hope that more people can participate in entrepreneurship research so as to better guide the entrepreneurial practice of both Chinese and Korean students. In fact, this forum is also the sixth in a series of discussion by my research team during the winter vacation. I hope that we can prepare more carefully for each seminar, especially read relevant background materials in advance. I believe that the holding and attending the forums will broaden the students' horizons and improve their research ability. At last, I want to express my thanks again to my dear friends, especially for the Professor An, Professor Choi, and the other students and teachers from the different universities. I wish the China-Korean Entrepreneurship Forum a complete success. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Shi. And now shall we have a photo? And please turn on your camera and have a photo together. We can use the picture as the background. The picture in the chat. Wait a moment, please. Okay, thank you for your cooperation. And today's agenda is that two professors give a 20-minute presentation, and then everyone could ask questions or say something. And the first one is Professor An. He follows a lot of topics such as entrepreneurship scholarship, startup ecosystem, regional innovation, entrepreneur's capability, and he will introduce changes and development of Korea's startup ecosystem. Professor An, could you please share your screen?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Here you go.
Okay. Can you see my PPT?
Yeah,
material?
we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, today I would like to briefly discuss Korea's startup ecosystems with you. I'm happy, and so let's get started. Yeah, so this is the main topic. How has Korea's entrepreneur startup ecosystem developed? First, it is necessary to look at how Korea's history has grown from business and economic point of view. In the 1960s, the focus was on economic growth centered on large corporations. This is a point at which the Korean entrepreneurial spirit of the miracle on Han River, as you know, has been achieved, and the Korean entrepreneurial spirit of just do it in many past. In addition, the Korea government creation of the Small and Medium Business Administration in 1996 from the conglomerated centered economic policy and began to implement policy for SMEs. And in addition, in the rapidly changing global economic market, where it's experiencing a very limitations in the recent small and medium-sized business development policy. It began to natural startup in earnest in 2013 as a new economics policy in the era of the fourth revolution for national innovation, technical innovation, and job creation. Look at this graph. This is a referred to cautious startup business trend and the new corporation trend, statistical data, etc. This chart is data on the change in key indicators of Korea's startup ecosystem and their periodic classification. Look at the dotted lines show the increase in the number of new corporations. And second, the solid line below in the annual increase in the venture companies. A venture company means, a definition is innovative companies with technology. This is where the first phase of the expansion of venture companies took place. 1998, yeah. This is the second stage of the expansion of venture companies. Now, 2019. Look at the history from the perspective of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. It is as follows: 1960, 1918, the traditional industrial concentration trend. 1980, 1990, IT innovation and the birth of entrepreneurship culture. And 1990, 2000, establishment of a startup support system. 2000 and present creating competitive startups ecosystem. This data is ranking of the best city to start a business in the world. This is a startup genome institute and ecosystems research data. Yeah, look at this. Beijing, China, ranked 5th in the world as the best city to start a business, and Shanghai ranked 8th. I sincerely hope that WENZHOU, your will also innovate into a city that is good for starting a business. And I personally think it is possible. Yeah, I hope so that. In South Korea, Seoul city was ranked 10th for the first time last year. This is a very important numbers for South Korea. Yeah. In Korea, 810 articles in 1991 and 937 articles in 2019 were reported to the media's increase 100 times. This data is a map of the Korea startup ecosystem. It is an entire cycle from preliminary entrepreneurs to co-stock listing and M&A process. There are many successful factors of Silicon Valley, but the most important among them, there are key human resource, technology, and capitals. Among them, human resources are the most important, and universities should play an important role in key human resource and technology. This graph is on indicators of the continuous growth of venture investment, media articles, and incorporations from 1998 to 2020. Relativity at the growth rate of venture investment sector is rising moderately. Although it is details, the number of new corporations is also continuously increasing. As you can see, the trend of startup companies by years is continuously increasing. Even after 2020 has passed, it is characterizing by the continuously upward trend. The startup support budget has increased every year since the initial budget of 8.2 billion won in 1998, and most of the growth has occurred in the last 10 years. Yeah, so that's the chapter. Yes, next chapter is this is our research thesis on the entrepreneurial ecosystems in the regions that I have recently researched. I would like to briefly introduce it is the topic of the today forum. The purpose of this study is to identify the success factors necessary to create a startup ecosystem for regional innovation. This study conducted a survey on experts who had worked at least 5 years in startup and related fields. There are 4 criteria to evaluate success factors of a startup ecosystem, and 16 sub-criteria to evaluate the success sub-factor. Consists of 4 factors: founder characteristic, startup support program, startup fund, and the startup infrastructure. The research model was established based on the following previous studies. This is my result and research result. Most of all, important ranking is first is founder characteristics, second is founding fund, next is startup infrastructure, last is startup support program. Yeah, so most of important fund characters. This analysis result showed that success factor in the startup ecosystem with the highest evaluations scored were characteristics of a startup runner, a startup fund, startup infrastructures, and the startup support program in descending orders, and that success sub-factors with the highest evaluation scored were entrepreneurship, nurturing of key personnel, initial expand for startup and the startup support system in descending orders. Analysis by gender found that for male startup runner, startup fund is important. There are a difference in the result of success factor analysis between male and female expert. Lastly, experts were asked which factors is the most important in the startup ecosystem. This study, in this study, a sample of 34 experts in the field of entrepreneurship was selected to result to regional imbalance and deliver the successful path of the entrepreneurship ecosystem. After identifying the inertias index standard, it was judged that reliability was secured and the AHP analysis was conducted. First, in the evolution evaluation factors for the success of the regional startup ecosystem, the characteristics of the founder were found to be the most important fact, leading to the conclusion that the characteristic of the founder was important in the region. In other words, for the successful of the startup company, it is a result that competence is important in the characteristic of the fund. Look at the complex weightings of the detailed factors. Entrepreneurship ranked highest, and the core manpower cultivations came to the conclusion that it was important in all others. In other words, entrepreneurship is the most important factor to be established in the local startup ecosystem. It is necessary to build capacity development and the startup infrastructure and the system where creating a network that connect natural activities of key local manpower through a community platform within startup ecosystem. Second, there are difference in the important priorities in the ecosystem of male and female entrepreneurs. Therefore, in order to activate entrepreneurship, it is desirable to support customizing policies that reflect the characteristics of man or woman, men and women. Third, according to the professionals group work experience that period in the relative field, the expert group A at least 5 years to less than 10 years. Group B, expert between 11 and 20 years. And the final group C, expert with more than 20 years of experience. It can be seen that there is a difference as a result of segmentation analysis. Group A, in the case of Group B, the characters of the founder was the most important. In the case of Group B, the creation of startup infrastructure was the most important. And in the case of Group C, others, he said that supporting and securing startup fund is more important than factors. In this way, according to the period of work, performance by experience in the related field, it was found that there are differences in the success factor of entrepreneurship ecosystem. Yeah, so that the next chapter is this is a chapter's data of KAIST ecosystem. So, you know, I worked here as KAIST, and as you know, KAIST is the best university in science and technology and global top, and technologies are begin research and commercializing. Currently, we are supporting everything from research to commercialization with the KAIST Startup Institute at the centers. I'm also a person who worked there. KAIST is striving to develop into the entrepreneurs university. So under the vision of the one lab, one startup, we have 650 rep. Yeah. So startups are continuously increasing, and industry interested is in increasing. A few days ago, the president of Korea also visited KAIST to meet entrepreneur 1 year ago. Yeah. Next time, I will talk more about the KAIST startup. And yeah, so KAIST startup ecosystems, entrepreneurship education, and technology investment, and technology commercialization, and startup infrastructure. Okay, thank you. Listen my presentation. So I really happy this forum. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for Professor Ann. Now it is Professor Choi's speech, and his teaching interests are human resource development and organizational behavior and development. And he mainly studies on social entrepreneurial intention recently. And could you please share your screen, Professor Choi? I can't hear you. You can turn on the mic. I can hear your screen, but I can't hear you. And you can turn on the mic and the first one.
Okay, give me a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, give me a second. And can you see this? Can you see this?
Yes, hear you.
Yeah, can you see this? Hello, can you see this?
I'm sorry, I can't hear the changes about your screen.
Okay, so I'm not familiar with this one. How can I set up? Give me a second. Okay, start the video. Okay, and mute. How can I use this? Video. Okay. Share. New share. Share the PC screen. Video.
Yeah.
Share. And desktop 2. Yep. Hey, share. No?
Yeah. We can see.
Can you see this?
We
Can you see and can you hear me?
Yeah. We can.
Okay. So then shall we start? Yeah, that's strange. Anyway. Okay. So can you see this?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. And give me a second. Yeah, why I cannot see this? Okay, good. So shall we start? Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, good. This is Dr. Jerry Choi at the K University WENZHOU campus. And welcome to the research forum of the social entrepreneurial intention, change by gender under the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Actually, so I'm working at the K University. I was working at the K University in New Jersey in 2014 and 15, and then one day my boss called me and he wanted me to serve for the new campus in WENZHOU, and I came to the WENZHOU campus 2015, and since then I'm working for the management and the marketing department. Oops. Okay. And today we will introduce the International Social Entrepreneur Research Colloquium in the Kane University system first. And then why and what social entrepreneurship we are studying. And we present our recent research of the social entrepreneurial intention changed by gender during the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Then, we will have the questions and the answer session later. First, we want to introduce the International Social Entrepreneurship Research Colloquium in Kane University system. 6 faculty members and +1 now at the School of Management and Marketing at the Kane USA and the WENZHOU Kane University jointly formed a research colloquium to address the emerging international social entrepreneurship studies. Me at the WENZHOU Kane University established a Center for the Social Enterprise and the Charity Research Institute, and I suggested a research collaboration to Dr. Jeonghwan Kim and the Kane USA and a few number of the researchers in the USA. And recently, Dr. Xu and we talked a lot about it, how we can study together for the WENZHOU entrepreneurship. This is the research of the ISER on the social entrepreneurial intention changed by gender under the COVID-19 pandemic situation. And we conducted this research in 2019, just before the COVID-19 situation. And we collected another data in the 2021. I will talk later. I will talk in more detail in later. Overall, underpinning the several key definitions and the assumptions, we can think that the social entrepreneurship is an emerging concept in literature and the practices, as people use the business strategies and the techniques in entrepreneurial ways to address the social changes such as social exclusion, marginalization, segmentation, and isolation. The role of the social entrepreneurship has become particularly important during the COVID-19 pandemic situation in order to address the critical social problems through the rapid and innovative solutions, bridging ideas to product and services and initiating social ventures to deliver solutions. We are experiencing an unprecedented pandemic situation since the 2020 due to the COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic offers social entrepreneurs abundant opportunity to develop the innovative approaches that replicate the best of what had worked before the crisis to meet new challenges through the scope of the resource sharing and the collective actions that bring about the social changes. But the COVID-19 pandemic has not been thoroughly explored in the existing literature. The gap in the existing research may be attributed to the little attention to the pandemic dynamic role on the relationship among the social entrepreneurial intention, contextual factors, and the personal factors. This study has 3 research objectives. The first objective was to identify and understand the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on social entrepreneurial intention. The second goal is to investigate the gender differences in the pandemic effect on social entrepreneurial intention. The third purpose of this study is to explore the mediating effect of the positivity on the relationship between the environmental factors and the social entrepreneurial intention before and during the COVID-19 pandemic situation by gender. According to the social psychology, human behavior can be explained by environment and the person when we consider them at the same time. Underpinning this Kurt Lewin's field theory, Albert Bandura suggested the social cognitive theory that explained the human behavior, person, and environment mutually affect one another. In short, human behavior, including social entrepreneurial behavior, may vary by changes in intentions through the continuous interaction with the personal and the environmental factors. Based on the human behavioral intention theory, we formulated 3 hypotheses. First, we hypothesize that there are differences in social entrepreneurial intention and its predictor variables before and during the COVID-19 by gender. Second, we hypothesize that there are differences in the effect of the predictor variables, environmental factor, and the psychological capital on social entrepreneurial intention before and during the pandemic by gender. Third, we hypothesize that psychological capital mediate the relationship between the environmental factors and the social entrepreneurial intention, regardless of the COVID-19 pandemic and the gender differences. A quantitative survey method was administered to collect data from the target population. This study purposefully chose at the WENZHOU K University CBPM's College of Business graduating senior population because those students were subjected to a critical career decision that is compatible with the critical event theory. In spring 2019, just before the COVID-19, and in spring 2021, during the COVID-19 situation, we distributed the paper surveys to all fourth-year graduating senior College of Business students and returned them back. 4 data groups were mined and categorized for further analysis before, during, male, and female. Social entrepreneurial intention, environmental factors, and the positive psychological capital constructed this measurement model. And each observed variables and the latent variables were validated its reliability and the validity. Confirmatory factor analysis result indicated that the second-order measurement model showed the sufficient validity and the model fit level. Descriptive statistics result indicated the data showed satisfactory measurement of reliability and a strong association among variables shed light on the further correlational investigation. Hypothesis 1 was partially supported. Social entrepreneurial intention had no significant difference before and during the pandemic by gender, according to the ANOVA test. However, several predictor variables show the difference before and during the pandemic when we consider the gender differences. Particularly, social norm, group 3 and 4, self-efficacy, group 1 and 3, and hope show the significant differences by gender. Hypothesis 2 is supported from the multiple regression analysis. The effects of the environmental factor show the gender difference by pandemic situation, but personal factor affected the social entrepreneurial intention regardless of the situation or gender. In more detail, regression analysis result indicated effectual difference by COVID-19 situation and gender. It is noteworthy that the whole variable showed a consistent effect on social entrepreneurial intention, regardless of the situation and gender. Hypothesis 3 is supported from the structural equation modeling analysis. The positivity of the positive psychological capital fully mediated the relationship between the environmental factors and the social entrepreneurial intention. Psychological safety was not included in the analysis because of the poor factor loading. Hypothesis 3 is supported even when we consider the pandemic situation and the gender difference. The mediation effect of the psychological capital was universally observed, regardless of the pandemic situation and the gender difference. From these findings, we propose 4 research suggestions. First, we need to consider gender differences of the COVID-19 effect. Pandemic may have a different affection onto the gender. Second, we need to place personal factors as a mediation variable between the contextual factors and the social entrepreneurial measures. Third, we need to give more attention to the universally impactful key variable on social entrepreneurial intention, such as hope variable. Fourth, we propose developing gender-sensitive training program and courses in the field of the social entrepreneurship. This study could not fully exclude the risk of the limitation. We had a limited agreement over the measurement and the definition of the environmental factors of the social entrepreneurship. Second, the survey participants probably had a different cultural understandings of the question items. Third, this study used a self-reporting data, which is not fully exclude the risk of the common method bias. Finally, using the student sample to address that the proposed research questions would not fully representing the social entrepreneur intention because of the relatively lower career commitment. This study shed light on a new pedagogical and the practical approach in social entrepreneurship training and development. If you have a question, please feel free to let us know. Thank you. Okay, yeah, that is it. Thank you.
Thank you for your sharing. And the teachers and the students could ask questions or say something.
Okay. Thank you for the two professors' very wonderful speeches. So first, I want to ask a question to Professor N first. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Professor N, I thank you for your good speech. I want to ask, do you think what's the impact of the COVID-19, the pandemic on Korean ecosystem, entrepreneurial ecosystem? You don't mention it. I want to know your opinions.
So, okay. Pandemic. Pandemic. I think pandemic influenced our entrepreneurship ecosystems to digital. So let me see. I'm checking. I think it has a digital influence. Because of entrepreneur or a startup have to meet. So we didn't meet a long time for three years. So during COVID situation. So our startup entrepreneurship education, our entrepreneurship activity, entrepreneurship infrastructures, we didn't work very well. So, but it is very not good influence the startup system. So, but we have to recovery every whatever situation. So I think it is a better situation in the our COVID system. But now I think it's a good point. We have a good point. A digital about digitals. Yeah, so now we are use a digital meeting, digital system by using Zoom, Meet, or like this this system. Yeah, so we have many chance digital areas or metaverse, such like metaverse or digital technology. Yeah, so maybe we have to take a good or bad situation. So try to make good ecosystem for our startup. Yeah, so I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. And another question I want to ask Professor Choi, Jerry. Okay, so we know you are Korean and you also have an international background, and now you work in China, Wenzhou. And so, in your opinion, on what area the Chinese university should learn from American or Korean universities on entrepreneurship education? Please turn on your mic. I can't hear your voice. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Good. Yeah, I have a background of the German engineering. I was a German engineer, and then I got my PhD from University of Illinois. And however, I was working in Korea for 7 or 8 years. So I don't know much about it, the Korean entrepreneurship something technically, okay? However, so from my feeling and from my study, and Chinese universities can learn about it, how we can transfer and how we can commercialize that research institutions generated new knowledges into the community. So the biggest difference from the biggest difference of the Chinese universities is Chinese universities has a relatively weak or relatively undermined something community engagement. And for example, when I was working at the University of Illinois at the Entrepreneurial Academy for the Entrepreneurial Leadership, we bring many technology technicians, engineers, and scientists to the community business, local businesses. For example, okay, so we produce a lot of the good patent in the university. And we are very interested in, the university was very interested in commercialize those kind of the newly developed patent within the community, Urbana-Champaign, Illinois, Chicago, somewhere. And when I was in the Germany, and we had a very similar orientation. We develop a new knowledge within our university colleges, and then we are very interested in transfer those kind of newly developed ones into the community. However, from my experiences and the Jeonghwan University in Hangzhou, they came to the WENZHOU to do something. And the WENZHOU University or this area, they are producing many researches and something. But however, I cannot see the big connections with the community. So then maybe, probably we can learn about how we can serve how the Chinese universities and the colleges can serve for the community they are located in. Okay, and then nowadays I've heard that many Korean universities want to do that, but relatively, unfortunately, Korea is a relatively small country. Like urban city is something like a Singapore or Hong Kong, or not very big. So then their engagement in the community development was relatively weak. That's so much different from the China. So probably the Chinese universities and colleges can learn and replicating the samples of the relatively large countries engagement in the community development based on the newly developed researches and the knowledges within that community. For example, Wenzhou University, Wenzhou Ken University, and a few number of the universities, we work together in order to serve for the Wenzhou community. And the Shanghai main community in the Shanghai, or Beijing, yeah, community in the Beijing, Guangzhou, whatever. So that maybe we'd better to think of, reconsider about at the relatively not national level innovation, but however the local community level development or the innovation, we'd better to think of that.
And
Okay, thank you so much. Okay.
thank you. Professor, I have a question for you. And I saw in your study, some people start their business 5 years after graduation from university. And while the Chinese study concluded that it took 7 years. And I want to know, what do you think is the reason for this conclusion?
Professor Ang.
Sorry, Professor, I can't hear you. You could turn on the mic.
Your question is for me?
Yeah. I can say again, in your study, some people start their business or have a company about 5 years after their graduate from university. And while the Chinese study conclude that it took 7 years. And I want to know, what do you think is the reason for this conclusion? Thank you.
think, yeah, yes, thank you your question, but I am not good answers for your question. I don't know exactly why Chinese student, Korean student, different. But anyways, I think many students learn to their study their majors in university, but they didn't learn the business field or entrepreneurship or attitude or behaviors, how to start a company. So maybe for example, Korea, I have to study entrepreneurship field in university 2013. So we are start to teaching entrepreneurship. So I think I have to teaching entrepreneurship or startup real startup knowledge to this university so course university teaching course. So because we can find a good job now, so our futures, because we have too many different environment society now. So we so I think we have to make a great job, make a good opportunity. So we have to teaching entrepreneurship for university course. So 7 years, I don't understand exactly 7 years. Yes, so I'm so sorry.
Thank you for your share.
Yeah.
I'd like to do more research on entrepreneurial and thank you for your sharing. And any questions for Professor Ann or Professor Choi?
Hi, Miss Choi.
Oh yeah, this is Dr. Very.
No, I'm a student. I have a question that I'm curious about.
Sure.
Do Korea college students choose employment or entrepreneurship after their graduation? Which one is more? And do you think what is the reasons? What are the reasons?
Actually, okay, so this is universal all around the world, okay? I do not support that the campus entrepreneurs, campus entrepreneurs were the campus entrepreneurship, because if students, when they graduate or when they start their business within the campus and or the college days, they will fail. Their failure ratio is dramatically high, like 99%, because they do not have a fund, they do not have a experience, they do not have a social network. Absolutely. We don't need to think about it, the Microsoft, the Bill Gates, or the Steve Jobs, or the Mark Zuckerberg, somebody. They are outliers. According to the recent studies about the successful entrepreneurs, okay, they usually have a college degree or the master's degree, and they usually have at least 7 years of the job experiences. And when they make a success, they usually have 7 times of the failure. And in their age of the 35 or the 40, they could make a success. This is our understanding. This is the fact. So I think all around the world, okay, we wish our students experience the small failures on campus days. Then we hope, we want to guide our students get a job in order to gain the social capital, social relations, and the fund and the job experiences where they can start their business in when they are ready. So I think no matter what, Chinese students, Korean students, American students, German students, from my experiences, they'd better to complete their college and they must find a good job first, and that they should build their own career in a certain specific field. And they must make an extra effort to gain the human capital, social network. And there, absolutely, you need to start the seed money. So when you are ready, and you must try several times, and you must experience the failures. Learning from failure is essential. Then gradually, if there is a chance, gradually, we want to encourage those people who are ready to start their business when they are ready. I think so. So no matter what, my suggestion is, college students, please complete your degree, and then please complete your master's degree, and please try to find a good job. Then please try to explore the good business opportunity within that specific field in order to accumulate more expertise at that field. Then when you're ready, you start, you cry over many times, and you experience many failures, then you will have a chance. So this is the reason why I am suggesting my students and many people to complete their college degree first, and then try to find a good job and accumulate the more job experiences first.
Okay, thank you,
Yep.
Professor Choi.
Thank you, Xiaoyao. And any questions? Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy.
I'm sorry not being able to answer correctly in English today.
Thanks to Professor's sharing. I'm interested in Professor N's topic, so I would like to ask Professor N two questions. One is, what is the practice of entrepreneurship education in Korea? Two is, how schools organize various stakeholders to form an ecosystem.
Okay, thank you. So I missed the second question. So next time, told me again. So first question answers. Our universities make it good support to entrepreneur education system or infrastructures for our student. So you or our student have to try many challenging. So it's not good. It's not important successful. You have to try to anything. So for example, any idea, strange ideas, so whatever, so you have to try to make it challenging or risk taking. So during your for university student. So I really want to try to many times to years years actor challenging for and I think university campus is very good position for challenging community. So we have many people, we have many location, we have many professionals, expert area field, such like a professor, yeah, so a doctor, a master course, yeah. So we have to use these materials for our young people. So, I think give it to some money or give it to some space, give it to some support mentoring, yeah. So real business, so mental support system. So and then you can challenge many ideas development or try to make it prototype product or app service or technology. So whatever you can do, try many times. So our university support like this system, education, infra, space, or any another support system. So professor, mentor system, yeah, anything. So it is very important for our futures, national futures, or personal futures. We try to real act education system. So, and second, what is your question, please?
My second question is how schools organize various stakeholders to form an ecosystem in entrepreneurship.
How to make? How to make?
To make an entrepreneurship ecosystem.
Yeah, how to make? How to make?
就是
I think Korea ecosystem is different other countries. Korea's lead Korea government lead startup ecosystem spread in the Korea. So now I really important things for our ecosystem. So we have to make good community startup platform. So I think so because yeah, so it is very influence impact is very past government leading, but it is very important. But it is how to make good ecosystem for our entrepreneurs is I think is very important. Very I think it is very basic make ecosystems for our startup entrepreneurs. So we need to community platform, community ecosystem. For example, some local success entrepreneurs give first entrepreneur startup ecosystem leading, not government. So it is very important things. So yeah, for example, our professor, startup leading include an entrepreneur, include and a startup company include, and last is our government or local government or our Korea government support them. It is very important things. I think so that. So yeah, that's it. So anyway, I will more explain. Give me chance. I will I will answer to you.
Thanks, Professor N.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Jerry. I have a question for your research. You mentioned in your slide that the research suggestion number 4, you said about the gender-sensitive training and development programs. But I do have some questions on that definition because I never heard of that. Can you give some illustrations?
Oh, okay, sure. The gender sensitivity training program is okay. So that is a training program or educational pedagogical approaches that consider the gender differences. For example, a few days ago, we have a female executive coaching programs for the entrepreneurs. And I cannot remember the name of that in the US. And actually, so we in China and in the US, and the proportion of the woman CEO, the female CEO or the executives proportion is relatively really low, no more than 5%.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that situation, if we provided the same educational program or the coaching program or training program for the women and the male, unintentionally, we have a gender bias. So that we'd better to separate that the females in order to give a more female oriented or the gender sensitive content or the programs or the encouragement. We call those kind of things the gender sensitive educational program.
Oh, okay. I got it. Because I'm also female, so I'm very interested in these programs. Maybe in our university, we can just start up some programs about that.
Well, actually, so in WENZHOU, we are now proposing having the very similar the women mentoring or the coaching program for the women startups, entrepreneurs, and the executives. So we are now proposing. And Dr. Xu, please help us. Let's work together. And absolutely. So we are getting more interested in that.
Okay, thank you.
Please feel free to contact me. Oh, by the way, so I want to add some more. The Professor An answered about it. Okay, so the entrepreneurship ecosystem collaboration, something. And from my perspective, when I was working in Germany, US, and China, and Korea, I found out that there is a very interesting differences among the maybe we'd better to understand that the innovation model of the triple helix model. Triple helix model was introduced by the European scholars, and the triple helix model is composed with that the government, business, and the college. These three stakeholders work together to make innovation. And however, from my observation in Asia, like China, Korea, Japan, Singapore, and many other Asian countries, government took the most important role in taking the initiative of the innovation. While in the US, the business and the academia take the initiative of the entrepreneurship and innovation. That is the biggest difference. So if we have to understand about it, what is the unique systems or ecosystems of the Korean innovation or the Chinese innovation or the Asian innovation model, we'd better to give more attention to the government role, because they are the key agent to make an innovation cluster, innovation booming, innovation industrial policy, something. And that is the way to organize and integrate and create the ecosystem of the innovation. I think so. That's my personal observation. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And any questions for Professor Choi?
Okay, I want to ask a question to the both professors. Okay, you may choose you may choose who to answer these questions. Yeah. In recently, entrepreneurship evaluation has become a research hot point in the field of the entrepreneurship research. Could you recommend relevant good tools to evaluate the entrepreneurial ability of the college students?
Probably I can share my personal experiences and then why I use that the social entrepreneurial intention for the college students, because I want to measure. So the social entrepreneurial intention is a good metric to measure the college students the entrepreneurship. We call that is an entrepreneurial intention. We have many measures of that. So that's a micro level measures of the individual, the entrepreneurship measures for the individuals of the college students. But however, in order to measure the macro level something, we definitely have another metrics to evaluate or to assess that the entrepreneurship.
Is that will be some different?
Yes.
I mean, will be on especially on the social entrepreneurship or for the normal entrepreneurship.
Yes, yes. There is a commercial entrepreneurship measure and the social entrepreneurship measure. We have two different type of the entrepreneurship measures.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
Thank you.
So I have a question. So what is the problem does WENZHOU entrepreneurial ecosystem have? So I don't know exactly WENZHOU entrepreneurship entrepreneurs ecosystem.
Okay, so just like the other cities, I think we got lots of the problems. I think, but it's recently we discussed the most is the one key point is the high talent people. Yeah, I think it will be common for the other places in China, even the world. Yeah. And also, I think Jerry could answer this question. You stayed in WENZHOU for several years. Yeah, you will be also you got the international background. I think you will have the deeper feelings about that. You're right.
Yeah. And actually, so when I studied about the entrepreneurship, especially for the rural cities like WENZHOU, WENZHOU is a third tier city in China. And Daejeon is a third city in China, in Korea. That's a rural area. And unfortunately, in KNUSA, though we are located in the rural area of the New Jersey. So these cities, Daejeon, WENZHOU, and Elizabeth Union in Kane, we have a commonalities. The commonality is we are developing many good scientists, engineers, and the business talent, but we lose our best talent to the mega cities like Seoul, New York City, and Hangzhou, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Beijing. So one key issue for this rural area, rural cities is we are losing our best entrepreneurship talent. So this is the most important and the most burning issue for us, I think.
Okay, understand.
And Professor Choi, I have a question for you. And I want to know, can I have a question about your how much time did your research or that article take? Because how much time did you did your research or that article take? This article.
Okay, give me a second. So I started this research. I organized this research when I started my career. So then I organized at the 2015, 16, 17. Okay, so I get interested in, I bring that idea in 2017, and I got an IRB, and I conducted the research reviews for around 1.5 years, and I got an approval from the IRB. I got an IRB, and then I could collect the data 2019. And I published a few number of articles, and then suddenly we got a COVID-19 situation. So it takes 2 years to organize, do it again. And then, so it takes around 4 or 5 years for me to do that. And this year we will collect the third wave data. So it's ongoing. That never stops. So then, yeah, research never stops, you know.
Yes, thank you. Because I think in the past few years, I always worried about the time the study will take a long time to make it, and I also didn't have the patience to do it. And do you have any suggestions for us in the learning or study?
Okay, so then if you are a PhD students, please consider the researchability timeline. Okay, send your timeline. And for me, it takes around for me it takes 7 years to complete my PhD study. And however, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. But however, please consider what can you do within the timeline. So if you, yeah, I know that you are very ambitious and you want to complete with a very masterpiece research is something, and you want to make a big contribution to the society, and I want to become a big guy, something that never happened. Don't worry, okay? Nobody do that. Especially in this field, nobody can do that. Don't worry, okay? However, we want to see any small contributions. Small contributions is a contribution. Don't worry. Complete your study considering with the researchability and timeline. It's okay. Once you complete and once you have a good job, once you have a stability something, you can conduct what you want later. Okay?
Yes,
Consider
thank
the
you.
researchability and please complete. Just to think of the completion within the timeline. You are a student, not a researcher yet.
Oh,
It's
thank you. I
okay.
got it.
We do not expect a high. Don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you for your opinions. And I will do more timeline timeline for myself.
Mm.
And any questions, Wang Chan?
May I ask you a question, Dr. Choi? As female students tend to be indifferent and hesitant to entrepreneurship activities,
Yeah.
I consider the COVID-19 made individuals' positive psychological state worse, especially the hope, as you mentioned before. So in the future, after COVID-19, what can we do to encourage, inspire, or persuade female students in higher institutions? Could you please give me some advice?
Okay. Sure. Well, one thing, okay? Interestingly, female students sustain their positivity before and after the COVID-19 situation.
Yeah.
Male students lost their confidence. Male students is lowered the psychological capital, positivity. So
Yeah.
I am very positive in females are getting more interested in social entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship after this pandemic situation. So I'd better to help the male students better than the female students, because female students are okay and male students is totally depressed. So I think that it's opposite.
Okay. Of course, we have a promising future.
And, interestingly, that is another follow-up study we need to do. Why, during the pandemic situation, how the female students could keep their positivity. And that was a really interesting finding. Probably the female students are good at social interactions by using the Zoom or the WeChat or something, while the male students just focus on the online game. I don't know, but however, that is possible. So I think that the female students will be more flourishing in the commercial entrepreneurship and the social entrepreneurship after this big event. I think so. That's my prediction. I don't know, but however, we will see.
Okay, thank you.
So I have some thing, and in the response to Dr. Choi answer to my question a while ago, I would like to give you an opinions on Korea's startup ecosystem. Yeah, so Korea's startup ecosystem is centered in the metropolitan areas. So it is very concentrated in Seoul and the metropolitan areas. For example, about 90% of VC exists in the metropolitan area. So it is very problem. We need to solve for good Korea ecosystem. So it's very important for the region to create such an ecosystem. So yeah, Jeju is more good other regions, but still we still have most of infrastructure ventures startup is concentrated in Seoul. Yeah, it is a problem.
Excuse me, Professor M. The question for Professor Choi.
I don't know. Yeah, he just added his opinions about it. What is the situation of the Korean startup ecosystem? And he mentioned about, okay, so the Korea is very relied on the very concentrated resource availability in the metropolitan area like Seoul. Near to Seoul, every money and every people is just accumulated and attenuated at there. So that is a big problem. He thinks so, and absolutely, I can observe that kinds of things is happening in Wenzhou and Elizabeth in the New Jersey and Leipzig in Germany when I was there. And we also develop a lot of good scientists, engineers, and the potential entrepreneurs. But however, they leave to the Berlin, large cities, and the Stuttgart and all around the world. So we call this is a brain drainage. So then, yeah, that is a problem, I think. And we call this is a rural area, the marginalization. And then that is getting more problematic all around the world.
Oh, I got it. Thank you for your opinions. And any questions? If we have questions, we can end this form. Any questions? Okay. On this form, we learned the Korean entrepreneurship ecosystem and the social entrepreneurial intention change. And thank you for our share. The form is over and you could leave the meeting. And thank you for your cooperation. And see you again. And see you next
Thank you
time.
so much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for Professor N,
you.
Professor Choi.
Yeah, I will see you in Wenzhou.
Okay, sure. And
Sure.
please visit us, Professor N, in the near
Yes.
future. Yeah.
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
welcome to join.
Yeah, I really want to Wenzhou. I miss Wenzhou and my friend. Yeah.
Okay, see you.
See
Yeah,
you.
have a
See
nice
you
day.
next
Bye.
time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Goodbye. See you next time.
See you next time.